All right. Welcome to the Lady Shocks podcast. This is what did we decide? Episode
number
6.
Yep.
Episode 6. Are you excited about today, Brad?
I am. It's not every day that you interview. Well, maybe you do every day, but I don't every day interview a collegiate conference player of the year, a NCAA record holder, first team All-American. Yeah, I don't do that every day. I don't know. Do you?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So
No.
a bunch of firsts today.
Stoked about today. This will be fun. Good time. Looking forward to getting into it. Want to give a shout out. We're coming to you from the Eastus Media podcast studio in little old Pratt, Kansas. So Eastus Media, home of the Cody Eastus podcast. We use the Eastus Media podcast studio for our podcast. Appreciate Cody and what he does and his support of Paladin
stuff.
Strategies and the Lady Shock Squad.
Exactly.
So with that, we're going to bring in our guest today, Addie Barnard. Did I say that right, Addie?
Yeah, you did.
Awesome. See, this is like a game that Brad and I play. Like, can we say the players' names correctly?
Yep.
And
for the most part, we've got them right.
Yeah, a couple of them we asked ahead of time.
Yes.
We asked ahead of time.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
How are you today, Addie?
I'm pretty good. It's nice outside, and I'm ready to get after it and practice today, and then relax during the weekend. So I'm doing pretty good. It's a Friday. I mean, how can you not be doing pretty good on a Friday? So yeah.
Right. So I have to ask one quick question, really quick, and people are going to get tired of me talking about my twins go to Wichita State, but one of them specifically.
And his phone going off.
Yeah, I know. I usually have that down, and we don't unedit stuff. So
if
it goes bad, we keep it. But one of the twins, his whole goal in life now is, it started out with him just catching the pitchers, but. His goal in life now is whenever he's around for live hitting practice is to rob home runs. And so my question is, has he robbed any of your home runs?
I don't think so. He might have, because he does it literally all the time, like nonchalantly. But I'm not sure, because when I'm hitting, if it feels good, I don't really watch where it goes, so I'm just whatever. Well, he probably has.
She's usually hitting it 50 feet past the fence.
Well, that's what I was waiting for her to say. Like, nah, he ain't robbing mine, because they're not right by the fence. But I like that answer better. Of if I hit it good, like I'm not paying attention to where it goes. I just want good, solid contact, and I think a lot of younger players can learn from that for sure.
If you hit it well, the going out of the park will take care of itself.
Yeah.
Right.
So tell everybody just a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you ended up at Wichita State.
All right. My name is Addison Barnard. I am from a small town in Nebraska called Beatrice. I have 3 younger sisters, and I grew up on a farm. I am a junior here for the Wichita State softball team. And how I got here, I kind of went to a camp down here. I really didn't know much about the school at all. And so I went to a camp. I think it was a 3-day camp, and went through all those 3 days. And I was like, hey, I kind of like it. It's kind of a hometown feel, kind of feels like home, not too far away. And then Coach B kind of showed some interest. And after that, I kind of had an unofficial visit during that time. And a couple weeks after, I want to say, I was like, I think I found what I'm looking for. And so I committed.
Did you have some other schools that you were looking at or visiting as well, or was it just Wichita State once you took the camp there?
Yeah, so not really. I was a sophomore in high school. My class kind of recruiting's way different now, based on age. But I didn't really have anybody else looking at me. So I was like, what? I think I'm going to commit to Wichita.
That was a mistake. Well, it was funny what she said too. Like, I was at camp, and Coach B was kind of like, "Oh yeah, we can do this." Like I wouldn't mind
maybe
first team All-American as a sophomore.
Maybe we'll take the most prolific home runs per game hitter. I guess we can take you.
Yeah, you want to come here? That'd be great.
Did you have I wanted to know this. Like, did you have a massive power output in high school and growing up in youth travel ball?
So growing up, I would say not really. I kind of was just focused on my speed and getting base to base and hitting base hits. But I
Right.
think as I kind of matured and got into high school, I started to figure out that, I genetically, I kind of just had like a good build. And so, like, growing up and lifting weights, starting through my junior and senior year in high school, that's when I kind of realized that I did have a little more power. And then my senior year of high school, I really started to feel out that power and see that I can actually hit the ball over and that kind of stuff. And then summer ball after high school, I just pretty much base hits. And then coming into college, I had no idea I was even going to play as a freshman. I was like, I'm just going to wait my turn, play my role. And then we had some things happen, and they're like, well, Addie, you got to be ready for the first game. And I think that game, my first at bat, I was literally shaking in my boots because I was so nervous.
Yep.
And then the second at bat, the girl pitched me a changeup, and I recognized it, and I ended up hitting it over, and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like,
that's when I said I'm getting the school record this year as a freshman.
Yeah, and then my mom was like, Addie, what the heck? Like, we weren't even really watching because you said you weren't going to play. And I was like, I didn't even know.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so, I mean, and I think that's what's cool, like, to me, that's what's amazing about sports, right? Is because you're sitting here telling us that, like, hey, look, I was a good player in high school, but I really didn't have anybody looking at me, and I really wasn't a home run hitter, which is what I've become known for, but I didn't really have a lot of looks. I didn't have this and that. Wichita State was like, yeah, come down here, and then you come down and you get your shot as a freshman, and you have success as a freshman. You set a school record in home runs that year, and then you follow that up your sophomore year with just an outburst, and set an NCAA record with that. And I think, like, that's what people don't get, right? Is like, just because you're not, just because nobody's recruiting you out of high school, or you're not getting a lot of looks out of high school, does not mean that you still can't go be successful in college, because a lot of it comes down to work and continuing to put the work in and continuing to listen to the coaches and do that. And so I think it's a great story already, just in the first 8 minutes of this podcast, about, like, hey, so what if you're not getting recruited by all these major, D1 power schools? You can still be successful, and more importantly, help your team along the way.
Yeah, there's a lot of coaches that missed out.
Yeah,
for sure. The other thing she said that I really like, that I think we are 6 for 6 now on the Wichita State athletes, is one of the first things she talked about was the atmosphere.
Yeah,
and the small. Wichita's a fairly decent sized town, but I mean it's not a booming metropolis. It's not a huge Chicago or type thing. And that family atmosphere. So that's 6 for 6 on that. I think you guys got together and talked about it. I mean, 6 for 6, talking
all the different athletes, like, hey, let's all, I genuinely
No, I agree. Just talking with Kevin Saul as the athletic director, I get that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, now that you've hit these, you've had these home run outputs, does it ever bother you that that's what people talk about? Like, that they look at you and they talk about you as a home run hitter, and like, hey, look, I'm fast on the bases.
I play stolen bases too.
I play great defense. Like, does it frustrate you that, like, that's not part of the discussion typically?
Not really, because, like, social media is a huge thing. So I know what they're seeing on social media, and it's mostly about home runs and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I've just kind of learned how to cope with it and, not get too caught up in it. But when people tell me that, it's awesome, because, like, it's crazy to think how many people actually follow you that you have no clue about. And so when I'm home and people are like, hey, we follow you, like, you had a great season, like, it's just awesome, because I'm like, I had no idea you even knew where I went to school at.
Yeah, right. Well, when you have social media that comes out like this, I mean, listing everything on there, the American Athletic Conference Player of the Year and All-American, the 33 home runs, the setting the record for home runs per game. I mean, you look at this and you're like, this is amazing stuff. And I think you're right. You hit it there. It's what you see on social media and what everybody wants is they want that home run. That's what people like to see. They don't want to see the regular routine play that you're going to make all the time that is going to help your team win a game. They want to see the bomb, and that's what they talk about.
Right.
It was cool. You were talking about people knowing who you are. So we Pratt, Kansas is an hour west of Wichita, a little over that. And then Brad and I actually live west of that. So I'm an alumni of Wichita State, but we live west in Haviland and Greensburg, small towns. And there's a podcasting class in that small town who we've actually had them listen live to a couple of podcasts. But yesterday, we jumped on with them yesterday live because we were here and we were talking. We're like, yeah, we had to reschedule, and the teacher has kids that play travel softball, and when we mentioned who we were going to be interviewing, she instantly knew who you was. Like you said, she's from small town 2 hours west of Wichita, and the minute your name was dropped, she's like, oh my God, she's from Wichita State. And
oh my gosh,
you're a
That's
star.
crazy.
You're a rock star.
You're a rock star.
Thank you.
Embrace it. Live
Yeah,
it.
you're a rock star. So what has been your biggest transition going from Beatrice, Nebraska to Wichita, Kansas? Like not just from an athletic standpoint, but also just a life standpoint.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, obviously it's a lot bigger. Coming into a college where you don't know anybody. I mean, even the recruits in my class, I didn't get to come on my official visit, and so I wasn't really close with them. And so coming into a new place with nobody you know, that's like the biggest change. And I think another big change is the pace. So the pace here at practice, a lot faster. And it takes some time to getting used to. And I think as a freshman, I was just such a nervous person. And so when I was at high school ball practicing, like I was never afraid to make a mistake. But when I came here, it's like I'm putting it all on the line. Like I don't want to mess up and all this stuff. Yep. And so I think that was the biggest change, just learning how to cope with those feelings and not getting caught up in, errors or strikeouts or that kind of thing.
Yep. And it's funny because I was you've passed it now, but I was talking to some college coaches the other day on the baseball side of it, and there used to be a day where recruiting was a lot about defensive and contact hitting, a good average and this and that. And I had one tell me the other day, like, if you can crush the ball, we're going to find a spot for you. So like if you're going to hit, 30 home runs a year or 53 home runs in 2 years, Addie, I think they're going to find a spot for you, even if defensively you have a couple of errors here and there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and that is the big motto for our team. If you can hit, you'll play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
You're going to get a spot.
Well, you got two of the best offensive players in the country.
Yeah.
On Wichita State. That's amazing.
Well, I think the two best last year.
Arguably.
I get it. Jocelyn Allo hit 34 home runs, but she did it in more games. So,
yeah, but she wants to be like Addie.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you talked about going and not really knowing anybody in this and that. So how cool is it that next year in your senior year, you're going to know somebody and probably know them fairly well? Are you excited about that? Or are you like, oh, I don't want my sister to play here? Or what?
Is she going to break your freshman record?
No.
Okay. No. I love it. I love that. I have 7 kids. I love that answer.
What's your sister's name?
Avery.
Yep. Okay. So how excited are you for Avery to come play as well?
I'm really excited for her, and I, in high school and stuff, we used to fight a lot, but as I went to college, as I went to college, we got a lot closer and depended on each other a lot more. And now that I'm older, I think I'm just like, I'm matured so much that when she needs help, like I know exactly what to do. And she's like, Addie, like I can't, like I'm doing something with my hands, and I'll just watch her and I know exactly what she needs to do. And so being able to do that and, just comforting her when coming into her freshman year, because freshman year sucks and it's really hard and it's a grind, but I'll be able to be here for her and help her through it. So I think that'll be awesome.
It's
That is amazing.
It's so funny, and I like the fact that Brad's like, oh, I love that because
I do.
the competition, we talk about it with our kids all the time, and so
man.
you're growing up, we fought all the time. Like
Yep.
the twins weren't even going to go to the same college. Connor wanted to be completely away, like we're going somewhere different, and finally they went to the same college, and they're roommates with another set of twins, and it's so funny because the other day. They played when it was really windy the other Sunday.
Yeah.
They went and played golf. And Caden told me, he's like, oh, yeah, we went and played golf the other day when it was crazy windy. And so I told my wife, I said, yeah, the boys went and played golf, and it was just the two of them. And she's like, oh, my God, they actually do like each other. Because there's always that competition, right? Like, no, but at the end of the day, like, now you're going to get to do some cool stuff with your sister that – before you'd have been like, yeah, we fought, but now we're here, we're together, we're supporting each other, and it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I think it'll be awesome. And she always says, like, I took the time in high school for granted and stuff, and I'm just really glad that we get another year to play with each other, and I'll get to help her through it. So I think it'll be awesome.
But we get another year to play together. Yeah, but remember, I'm the older, better sister. Like that. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
We have those battles in our house.
Yes, we do.
Still today all the time. So obviously from Nebraska, you fit right in with people from our area.
Yep.
And this is probably not your first one that you've gotten, right?
Actually, it was.
It was your first one, okay.
Because, I don't know, I just grew up always with my dad, He's pretty picky about what deer he gets. And so I was like, well, I don't want to shoot a little one.
Right.
And the craziest things just happen, and we'll be like too late to get a shot up and all this stuff. And so I've been really picky about what my first deer is going to be.
Okay.
So I finally got it down this year or last year. And so Avery hasn't got one yet. So I'm going to give her the better stand and, see what she can do with that.
Did you see that little dig though right there? Yeah, Avery hasn't got one yet.
Yeah. I'll give her the better stand. We'll see what she can do. Like, I'm loving that it's already starting, right? Like,
right.
I mean, it's been there, but we're getting to see it now.
Right.
We have a lot of connections with good deer hunting and hunting out here in western Kansas, so we can get you hooked up with that.
You do.
Trophy mule deer out here, like 10 miles south of my house. Trophy mule deer.
What?
I'm not
I'm
not a hunter, and I'm like I grew up I grew up playing sports all the time, and so
in Wichita,
and I grew up in Wichita all the time. So we were always, baseball season was like from February to August or September, and so there was just no time, and we just didn't get the interest in it.
Yep, nope. We have, in fact, the world record deer was shot. Where was that shot?
I have no idea.
It was shot by someone from around here.
I bet it tasted good.
Gage McDonald. You would know who these people are, but you do. It's a relationship of Gage McDonald shot the trophy.
Wow.
Deer
in Kansas.
Yeah, like right here within 30 miles.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So what do you
awesome.
What are you going to school for? I hear that you want to be a doctor. Is that true? Awesome.
Yeah. So I am a health science / pre-med major.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my goal is to go to medical school after this, and I'm not really sure exactly what I'm interested in yet, but I got to do some more job shadowing to see what I'm really drawn to. And I think as looking at a job, like that's the only thing that really stood out to me. And my mom is also a midwife, so she delivers babies. So I think I've just kind of grown up around it.
Yeah.
And so, that's what I'm really drawn to. And hopefully I can be Dr. Barnard someday.
That would be amazing.
Dr. Barnard.
Boy, I tell you, the discipline that takes to be a D1 athlete and take your medical courses and whatnot. Yeah, and stuff like that. I have a daughter that's a 4-year nurse. That's what she got her degree in. And I can't imagine the way she complained about
playing
how much homework
sports on top of it.
Yeah, to play a D1 sport.
Yeah.
Where that's a full-time job.
I feel like Dr. Barnard.
Congratulations to you.
I feel like Dr. Barnard would be a great supporter in the future of the Lady Shock Squad.
Oh yeah, she would be like,
sure.
Man, we want to watch all the games and whatnot.
So it really comes down to like it's crazy. So what it like. are you good with the blood and the gut stuff, or do you really like kids? I know you're still trying to decide, but is there somewhere where you were leaning originally?
I think during the beginning, I was kind of leaning towards more with kids, but I think now I'm leaning more towards anesthesiology.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, you're in the surgery room, but you're also not doing the cutting and that kind of stuff. So
you just get to give you just get to give the good
feel better.
You get to give the good drugs, and you get to stick a tube in their throat and breathe for them sometimes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That's the life. I'm a paramedic by trade, so I
oh gosh,
I fully I fully get that. So that's awesome, Dr. Barnard. I think that'll be good. I mean, I'm excited about that. I'm
excited for her, but I mean, I couldn't do it.
Well, I
couldn't handle blood. I can't handle blood. I can handle blood. You know what I can't handle? Maybe this is too much information. I can't handle vomit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is a tough one.
That's just the worst.
You should not work in EMS.
Well, I can only imagine what you see.
Yeah. Ugh. I think that the bigger question for me is so all right, great, we've got this path figured out. What happens if over the next 2 years you continue your success that pro softball thing comes calling a little bit? Is that something you're interested in, or?
So I guess like I have thought about it. I guess it just kind of depends like how it develops in these next few years.
Right.
But I'm most worried just about getting to my next career and getting through medical school so I can one day have a family and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, if people start making bank and there's a bunch of teams, like I think I would think about it just so I could have a little extra money to also go towards medical school.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't cheap.
Yeah. So that's kind of my thought right now about it.
Yeah.
Well, and I think and this is, I'm going to piggyback off of that comment a little bit, right? Like the whole goal and purpose of the Lady Shock Squad is to create more name, image, and likeness opportunities for the female athletes at Wichita State. And so our focus is on the females. And I think that, hopefully somebody's watching this podcast that knows what your goal is, and whether that's a business or an individual that says, wow, that's stuff that I can get behind and support. And I want to figure out a way to create some NIL opportunities for Addie so that she can have, maybe make a little bit of money that she can put back to help pay for med school down the road. So if you're listening and you're a big business or you're a big individual and you're a supporter or you're a physician that wants to see another great D1 athlete go into that profession, like here's your chance. Contact us at the Lady Shock Squad, and we can get something worked out so that Addie can have an NIL deal through you and help pay for medical school.
A little bit of job shadowing too.
Yeah.
So there's that side of it too.
Yeah.
That'd be huge.
And I think we can get some of that set up and worked
for
out.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
That would be good. I had a whole nother thought too.
Well, the way people have jumped on board with this so far has been.
There's a lot of excitement.
Yeah, I've been stunned by it. We'll just, hey, what do you think about this? And they're like, oh my goodness, yes. I had a conversation with a person yesterday who's she's a national director of partnerships for a national company that I'm friends with. We actually used to work together, and I was talking with her, and I just said, hey, we're thinking about doing this. Would you be interested maybe being on an advisory board for us? And I didn't even have to sell it. She was like, yes, tell me what I need to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Awesome.
And so
there's
a lot of excitement.
And there's been some cool. Addie, did you play in the Sunflower Collegiate League, softball collegiate league last summer?
No.
Okay.
I did not. So me and Sid went to Canada with a Colorado team to play out there.
Oh, nice.
Had a little more,
and it kind of went into that time length. And most of the summers, I kind of, by the end of the season, it's just kind of like I need a little break.
Want the break?
Yeah.
And so most of the summer, I just try to work and build up some money.
Yeah. Well, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, I want to give a shout out, though. I mean, the Sunflower Softball Collegiate League, like there's not a ton of places for softball players as they get into college to continue playing during the summer and hone that craft, right? On the baseball side, you have all these summer baseball leagues. There was actually a team from Beatrice, Nebraska that used to be in the Jayhawk League years ago with the El Dorado, Wichita, and then the El Dorado Broncos and some others. Yeah. But there's all these baseball leagues, but there's not as much for softball, especially around this area. And so kudos to Casey Walkup for starting that and creating essentially another opportunity for female softball athletes to be able to hone their skills over the summer months. And they interacted and did some other things. So cool. Casey and I played ball together growing up. So,
oh my gosh,
when we were little, we played on the same. His dad was a coach, and so we played together ages ago. I'm much younger than Casey though. He's at least a month or two older than me.
Really?
So
that's funny.
Yeah, tell us about your family.
All right, so I have 3 sisters: Avery, Reese, and Baylor. Okay. Avery's 17, Reese is 12, and Baylor's 10. And so we all play softball. And then you got my dad, Kurt, and my mom, Deanne. We're just my dad kind of struggles a little bit because we're all girls, he doesn't get any boy time really, but all my sisters play softball as well. I'm very family oriented, so like on weekends when we don't play or we're not practicing or anything, I'm like, I'm gonna go home, and just chill.
I think because Beatrice isn't that far away. What?
Right.
4 hours.
Yeah, it's 3 hours usually.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So.
And so you have a lot of supporters.
Yes.
There you go.
A lot.
That's good that they can come and get into some games and.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Yeah, they can get to the games pretty quick too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes it nice right there. So, and then tell us about this picture. Give us some background on this.
Oh yeah. So in Colorado, when I was playing for that, I think it was like an all-star game or something. My cousin, she is to the right of my grandma. She's in a white shirt with a black coat over it, kind of. Yep. She actually played basketball for Washington State.
Oh, wow.
And so she was actually really good. And she's just one of my best friends. And she lives in Colorado now. So she was able to make the trip. And then my grandma always travels with my family. And my sister was playing out there as well. So we all were just playing out there, and we all got together and got to spend some time with each other. So,
well, here's my question: as I sit there and think, okay, so we got Addie, major D1 softball player. Avery's coming in, D1 softball player. That's your cousin, D1 basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that all coming from? Who
is that cousin on your mom's side or your dad's side?
Yeah, I mean, where's
my dad's side?
Okay, was your mom or dad were they really good athletes too?
Yeah, my dad, he was pretty good athlete.
Okay.
And then my mom, she actually went to college for 2 different sports,
wow.
Softball and basketball, and then so she's really athletic, and so is my dad. Okay. So
yeah, that's right.
Did your dad play in college though?
No, he did not.
So that's the same scenario. Like I totally feel like, and you tell me if your household is not the same as my household, right? So I had college offers, but was too busy, screwing off late in high school, and so I ended up not taking any or doing anything, and eventually went to college and became a paramedic. But my wife played college volleyball. And my twins have had offers to go play baseball, and both decided, nah, we just want to go to college. Yep. But the argument in our house, like whenever anything comes up athletically, like the twins or my youngest will talk about how great they are, and my wife will be like, I'm the only college athlete in the house, and then I have to throw out like, but I'm the only one in the house that's in their high school sports hall of fame.
Right.
So that makes me so like there's this like, do you have that in your house? Does your mom and dad like is that well, I was a great athlete?
Addie,
your mom's
Addie
sitting there going,
Addie got that from me.
Oh yeah, definitely all the time. My dad will be like, well, guess what? In this game, I did this, and this, and my mom's like, well, she got it from me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could see that, right? Like his dad's like, I say that all the time. Hey, when I was 10 years old, in this game. Like we played in a World Series and da 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 da, and I could totally see your dad saying that right now because I do it. That's what dads do.
That's what I do too.
Yep.
That's what dads do.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
And then we brag about our kids.
Yep.
Occasionally.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Usually it comes back around to bragging about the kids, but my wife and I fight about that stuff too. She played soccer in college. I played basketball in college.
Yeah.
So it happens.
So tell us, we've asked all the girls the same question just because it's kind of new and out there. What was your first or maybe second, because the first message she tries to tell me went into some super secret folder.
Right.
But what was your first thought when you kind of heard what Brad and I were doing with trying to get this ladies shock squad rolling?
Yeah, I mean, at first I didn't know much about it, but then Sid kind of told me about it, and then you guys kind of explained it more to me. And at first I was just like, I can't believe that a company and like an organization is actually coming together to focus on women's sports. Yep. Because in the past it's like just kind of been pushed to the side. And so I just thought it was awesome because personally I haven't had a company that's like, we're focused on women's sports and we want to get you so many deals and we want to have a bunch of opportunities for you. And so that was really special to me.
Yep.
And I think, again, I'll throw that plug in there. Like, hey, anybody watching this podcast, I mean, this is all going to come down to you guys, the fans and the, and just the supporters of not just Wichita State athletics, but just women's in athletics in general, because that's what's really going to drive what we're going to be able to do. So we're super excited about it and super excited about the people that are reaching out and coming on board with some stuff. So it's going to be fun and exciting. So
I love it.
We're going to move into our last segment, and that is the random question segment. So Brad has some random questions here that he's going to throw out at you.
Have you talked with anyone else?
We're going to have to switch it up. Like we're going to have to, like at some point, we're going to have to switch it up because they're going to plan ahead of time.
I know.
Yeah. So I watched the little clip thing that I sent about some of the questions, and I was like, I've never even thought about like any of those. So
I'm trying to think.
Some may be the same, some may be different.
There's only one.
I have a random question
there's
first,
only
though.
One. Okay.
Do you and Sid, or has the team, or do you guys have like a nickname with the two of you together? Like, you had Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco were the Bash Brothers.
Yeah. You
guys is there something for you and Sid?
Well, according to Weston Pletcher in our Twitter account, it would be the dynamic duo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and you don't know this yet, and we're going to share it on the podcast, but people are already going to know it before this podcast comes out.
Right.
But one of the things we've been working on is apparel. So we've made a couple of shirts already for like Bree has one that says Bree knows, and it's got running, throwing, and jumping, and then wakeboarding. Or like there's one for Sid that Sid knows hitting, fielding, coffee, and art. And so we're working on some of that, but that would be one of the shirts that we would try and throw together, is something that the dynamic duo, or something that's a you and Sid together kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sid, I'm thinking about this now. I'm thinking of marketing now in my
brain. Well, we ain't got to talk about all that on here. Just think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we don't want to. Yeah,
because she's not really a home run hitter per se, right? She's just a high average hitter.
Mm-hmm.
So like slash and bash.
Okay, don't give away the secrets.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay, that's pretty good.
There's probably like
and dash, because she's fast.
There's probably
slash, bash, and dash.
2 million people watching this.
Yeah, that's true. Then now they're gonna want to buy that shirt.
What's the girl? Who's the girl? We haven't met all the girls at all yet, but who's the one that's very enthusiastic and excited and screaming and yelling all the time?
Isn't that Zoe Jones?
Nope.
No. That's
would be Maddie Espinosa.
Yes, Maddie Espinosa. So you got to come
with
up
the
with
cowboy
something.
hat.
Yeah. Something's got to match that.
Yeah.
Like throwing that in there as well, because she's super exciting.
She's fun.
All right, random questions.
All right, you ready for this?
Yes.
So, all right. Which talent would you most like to have? A talent you don't have that you were like, man, I wish I could do that.
Okay. I wish that I could sing.
Okay.
Good.
You can't sing?
No.
You want to give us a little example of your singing abilities?
Oh no.
Yeah. No. I'm
You know,
right there with you.
I like to sing and I walk around the house and
Yeah.
scream my lungs out sometimes. And my dad is like, "Oh gosh, Whitney Houston's back."
Yeah.
Right, there
But
you go.
I wish I could sing really good.
Yeah.
See, I can't sing, but I do it all the time. I don't care. I'm random. I don't care.
Oh, me too.
I just make up words.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Okay, it's kind of okay. So last year I saw a Twitter post and it was a picture of somebody hitting BP, and it was like it's okay to have boring BP because in games it turns into home runs.
Okay.
And so like it just kind of means like it's okay to hit line drives and hard balls and BP, but in a game it'll turn into something greater. And so every time I take BP, I kind of just think of that.
Yep.
And which is great because that fits in with what
mechanics.
Well, it fits in with what you said earlier, right? If I get good contact, good solid contact in BP, I don't watch where the ball goes.
Yep.
Like I'm getting set up for the next pitch, and so I think that all flows together. And I think any of you softball players listening right now, like that's the lesson right here. Focus on good, solid, strong contact and driving a softball
and the fundamentals,
and it'll come.
Yep.
So great stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you had to teach a class, and this can't be about softball.
Anything but softball.
Anything but softball. Okay. If you had to teach a class on one thing, what would you teach?
Like a subject or anything?
Yeah, a subject or anything. How to hunt deer and shoot one over the course of your life.
No, a cadaver class.
Yeah, a cadaver class. I mean,
yeah. You know, let's see. I would just teach it about it's important in your life to not just focus on one thing that you like, to really branch out and just kind of explain that.
Yeah, and what it means to have multiple things.
I feel like what that really means is the class that you would teach is a class where every week it's a completely different topic or subject. Like this week, we're going to talk about deer hunting.
Yeah.
Next week, we're going to talk about dads who think they're super amazing and the best athlete in the house.
Right.
And then the next week, we're going to talk about singing skills.
Right.
Yeah.
And how to
that'd be fun.
How to love life and sing.
Did you have home economics in high school? Like a class that taught you how to sew and cook and that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that some places still have that.
Yeah, I know.
I had that. I had it. I could sew a pillow, bro.
I can.
Yeah, I took a sewing class.
Yeah, and I like to cook. And it goes back to my home ec class. Like, I love cooking.
You know what was the one thing that they taught, though, that is totally worthless today in home ec? I just thought of this. Just comes to me.
I don't know. Talk to me.
How to repair holes in your jeans.
Oh, yeah. Now,
like, totally worthless today. Totally worthless today.
Yeah. Now it's
you got a hole in your knee. Here's how you can repair that so you don't have holy knee jeans anymore.
Yeah, we'll just make it bigger.
Worthless today.
Yeah. No, that is true. That is true. That's hilarious. Okay. If you had someone following you around all the time, what would you have them do for you so that you don't have to? You have your own personal little drive you around. So you'd have a chauffeur.
To that.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
So like when I go home, I can sleep. And they can just take me to my destination.
There you go. That's a great answer.
Or I'm picking on Dad today. Or if Dad really cared about you and your sister there now, he would go to school, get his private pilot's license really quick, get a private plane, and then just fly down and pick you up and fly you back anytime that you want. You hear that, Dad?
Yep.
That's you.
Literally.
Kurt's dad's name, right?
Yep.
Get on it, Kurt. Let's go. What are we doing here?
Because, you could fly a 3-hour flight or 3-hour.
It cuts time in half.
Oh, easily.
So that 6-hour round trip for the dad would be like 3, but these guys, it'd be an hour and a half max one way.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Here's my last one. We've asked this one to everyone. I don't know if we're going to end up starting up a sandwich shop.
We should.
With all of these different things.
But here
it is.
Sandwiches.
If there was a sandwich named after you, okay, what would we call it? The home run?
No, dude, I like the Barnard.
The Barnard?
The Barnard.
Okay. So if we had a sandwich named after you, what would be on it?
Okay. I would do, let's see, flatbread.
Okay.
Steak.
Yes.
Cheese.
What kind of cheese?
Mayo. And like a Southwest sauce.
Yeah.
With some green
I mean,
peppers.
Go back to your question, Brad, because
Yeah,
that's very important.
Yeah,
Brad
what is?
it?
Yeah, what kind of cheese?
American.
Okay. All right.
Was
But the
yours.
Southwest
But
sauce will kick
someone
it.
said something about steak.
She said steak, yeah.
I know. Everyone we talked to, like turkey and, what? Turkey?
Yeah.
Steak, beef. It's what's for dinner. There's literally an entire ad campaign on that.
Right.
So,
You should ask me. Go ahead, Addie. Ask me what my favorite sandwich is.
What is your favorite sandwich?
Tacos.
yeah.
Oh, so not a sandwich.
No, it's a sandwich. Tacos are a sandwich. They're a hamburger. Whatever you want, it's a taco.
Yeah.
It can
you
be
have
anything.
a chicken sandwich taco.
It's a taco.
Hamburger taco. That's hilarious. He loves
Taco.
He loves. That's what we had for lunch
Steak.
yesterday.
Steak, like shredded steak up, like steak
Yes.
shredded up. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
good.
mean that is
Yep.
that is solid. And do you like hot peppers on there?
No,
Yeah,
I
'cause
can't
if
do
you don't like pepper jack.
Nice.
Right, yeah. Okay.
You know what we haven't asked, and I feel like now that she's mentioned the steak piece, and
Yep.
like here's what we haven't asked.
Right.
Do you have like a pregame ritual or superstition from a eating standpoint? Is there something that you have to have or eat, whether it's candy or food or a snack, before every game?
Not necessarily. I mean, I usually go to Buffalo Brew before every game, every home
Mhm.
game, and it's
Okay.
like they
Remember
make
that.
these drinks where it's like a natural lotus. It's like a kind of an energy thing, and you
Okay.
get to pick whatever kinds you want. But I do that, but not necessarily much a food thing because usually we get something catered, so I don't
Yeah.
usually eat the same
Oh
thing.
wow. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Awesome.
I love that.
awesome. Well, what did we miss? What is something that we didn't hit or cover that maybe people out there don't know about you that you think would be interesting for them to know?
Let's see. So another hobby of mine that I used to do, we have our own 4-H club, and so I showed cows, and so I would miss every national tournament at the end of the year to show my cows at the Gage County Fair.
Really?
So you would skip national tournaments to show the cows. Did you have names for the cows?
Yeah.
Well, of course you do.
Did you
I
ever
mean,
feel?
we still.
I'm telling you, man. Me and you, we can have this conversation.
Wait.
Chad's from Wichita. He doesn't know what he's doing.
No, here's what I'm trying to figure out. Right, like
Did you name the cow? Of course you named the cow.
I got that, but the favorite sandwich is steak. Does it bother you when you go eat the steak that's
no.
somebody else's Susie?
No,
No, because usually
that's their goal
The-
in life. is to
usually
get
the
a
cows
really
we
good steak
butcher
sandwich.
are not the ones we showed. So
Yeah,
That
but
is
at
true.
some point the show cow is going to get butchered.
not
necessarily,
necessarily because we
I
usually
got
show
you,
breeding
Addie.
heifers.
I got you, Addie. This guy.
And
You just
so
let 'em-
we
you-
keep
They
them.
just live a normal life and pass away.
Yeah, they produce calves.
Yeah.
They get pregnant, and
Yeah.
that's what they do.
All right.
Yeah. This guy grew up in
Yeah.
Wichita, man. I grew up in a little bitty town in Illinois, and
I'm just saying. Like,
yeah, man.
At some
Chad,
point, every cow's going to turn into a hamburger.
No, where
Right.
do you think? I mean, the hamburger in my freezer right now is from one of our cows. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
the hamburger I have
But
in
I-
my freezer.
but I get
right
it when
now
you
is
have,
from
like-
a local farmer.
I get it when you
Right.
have like cows that are like going to be butchered. It's the ones that you get close to that you're like showing, and you create this memory, and they
Yeah.
get to know
Those
you.
those
and-
don't get butchered.
no, because
All right.
like
Gives
we
you-
still
those
have
give
the
you
cow that
offspring.
I first showed
See?
ever.
Those give you offspring that you butcher.
Right.
Ugh.
Usually it's
Exactly.
bulls. So
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
and bulls.
I kind of
bulls
want a
are-
hamburger now.
Oh yeah,
Or steak.
I'm always
A
down for
hamburger
steak.
or steak.
So
All right. Well, you got anything else for Addie, Brad?
no, I mean I think this is great. She's you know, I mean, obviously she's a stud at softball. She's going to be a stud doctor, Dr. Barnard. You know, I hope I never have to see you, because that means something went horribly wrong or something like that. And I got to go see Dr. Barnard. But you know, I'm excited for you with the Lady Shocks. I'm excited to partner with you on some stuff and to hopefully bring some stuff your direction. That if nothing else, man, we're gonna pay off her medical bill.
Right? Yeah.
You know, her medical degree bill.
Medical school. Yeah.
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 That's a great avenue right there.
Yep, that's our goal.
Well, Addie, thanks for joining us today. We're glad we were able to have you on, and excited to get to know you more, and excited to share you more with fans and supporters of the Lady Shock Squad and Shocker Athletics. And so we appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
That was super fun.
Yeah. All right. We will see ya.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
All right, Brad, you got any final thoughts on, you know, anything that you saw or heard or anything? I mean, that was great. I mean, I enjoyed listening to her, and that was awesome.
I love the fact that all of these female athletes at Wichita State have been so down to earth, and they love family, and you know, all these different things, and they're fun. They're fun, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I think, you know, with what we do, so just a little selfishly a Lady Shock Squad type plug, with what we do, it makes it easy to sell.
It makes it better.
Yeah, like here, look, watch how these ladies are articulate. Watch how they are fun. How can we use them to help you as a business?
Yeah.
You know, the other thing is, and we didn't really talk about it with Addie, but I bet you, I'd bet you most of my money, she loves it when little girls come up and want autographs after the game. And
and loves doing that.
And that's how they all are too. And so that avenue of being a good role model and stuff. And I mean, yeah, it's just I'm to the point now where I shouldn't even be surprised.
No, it's so cool that they all talk about family and how much all that is, and I think that's just amazing right there. So great times today with Addison Barnard, however she likes to go by Addie. We'll call her Addie, but Addie Barnard. Enjoyed having her, and kudos to her family on raising a great kid. So appreciate you guys being here. Make sure if you're not a member today, you can get your membership at theladyshocksquad.com. You can support the athletes. You can also go buy apparel for specific athletes there as well. So check us out, ladyshocksquad.com, the Ladies Shock Squad by Paladin Strategies. Want to give a final shout out to Cody Eastis with Eastis Media. Appreciate them letting us use the podcast studio here in Pratt, Kansas for all of our podcasting needs. Check them out, Eastis Media online. Appreciate that. So this is going to do it for our 6th episode of the Lady Shock Squad. Been fun so far in the initial 6, and we're waiting and looking forward to the remaining ones to come throughout the next year. So join us as a member and become a part of the Lady Shock Squad today. We'll talk to you guys next time. For Brad, I'm Chad. We'll see you.